Today, I want to talk a little bit about rural hunger that we're seeing. Um, Lots of things, lots of conversation that has been existing over the last few days, especially as it comes to the suspension of SNAP benefits and what impact that might having. Um, for a little background, I'm in a small county in Ohio. I'm going to move this just a little. Small county in Ohio, just north of Dayton. We're considered in the Miami Valley. 110,000 people live here. So it's not necessarily a rural county, but it's certainly not an urban county. I guess suburban might be the best way to describe it. In our county, roughly 8 to 10% of the people are on a SNAP benefit type program. So you extrapolate that route. 8 to 10,000 people are going to be impacted by what these SNAP benefit cuts are happening. And where we're seeing the most impact and where we will see the most impact is in the food pantries. And I operate two of these food pantries. There are three communities, three larger cities in our county, and I'm in two of the three. We've got a food pantry in Piqua, we've got a food pantry in Tip City. And you can get on Google Maps and you can get a better lay of the land of how these communities are at and all of the interaction. Um, our food pantry in Piqua this past Tuesday, we had 60 families show up, which for us is a very large number on one day. 20 of those families were first time families, folks that have never darkened our doorstep before came to us. Another food pantry, this was one in Troy. Troy's the largest community in our county. I believe Thursday they had 111 families, 391 people in one day show up. That was the busiest day they've ever had, and so the food pantries are really getting hit hard with people that are preparing for the worst come tomorrow with their SNAP benefits being cut. And so there's a lot of conversations about what are food pantries and what are food banks and how does all this stuff work. And so what a food pantry is kind of the front line mechanism to fight local hunger. Food pantries are largely supplied by food banks. Now, food banks are large distribution centers for food pantries, is the best way to think about it. When we get food at our food pantry, a lot of it comes from a food bank. Those food banks provide us food. We have to purchase it, but we're not purchasing the food. We're basically purchasing all of the costs that go into transporting the food to us. And so it doesn't matter if it's a boxed cereal, a box of spaghetti, a can of peanut butter, whatever it is, it's going to cost me roughly 17 to 18 cents a pound to get that food into our food pantry, and then we distribute it out to folks. Our two food pantries, we use two separate models. For our Piqua model, we use a box system. The reason we use the box system is that the box system is quicker and it's easier to get families in and out. Also, with where we're at, we just don't have the physical space to try the other model. The other model is what we call a choice pantry model. And I've heard some discussions about that the box system isn't friendly, it's not helpful, all these things. And I won't disagree with that. The issue is that many times families in poverty, they're living with what is called the tyranny of time. They can't spend a lot of time sitting around waiting in a food pantry to get the things they need, um, to get processed and to get on their way. Basically, they just want to come in, they want to answer a few questions that we have to collect, and then we send them on their way. And so the box model works well for that. For those families that want to go through the choice model, which takes a little bit more time, we offer that as well. And in the choice model, families come in and they get to choose the foods that they want to have and they can take with them. And so, in any given month, we'll help 700 to 800 families through our two food pantries. And we also have a free Monday night meal that we offer. We'll help. We'll give out about 240 to 260 meals every month through that program as well. So we're definitely staying busy, and we are anticipating being busier as time goes on here at the food pantry. Um, Ways you can help fight hunger in your own neighborhood, in your own community, in your own backyard. First of all, find a food pantry in your own community and make a donation. Um, Depending on what your particular food pantry needs, the donation might look the same. Is that there have been a lot of USDA commodities that these are products that the government has bought. They're not getting to food banks, and so they're not getting to food pantries. That causes a lot of problems because you might have a food pantry that, for whatever reason, can't get a box of cereal. We were in that a few months ago. We couldn't get a box of cereal um, to save our life unless we wanted to pay retail. Very hard to do in a nonprofit when you're trying to feed people. So if you have items at home that you're not needing, not using, or if you're at the grocery store and don't mind buying an extra box of cereal or two, your local food pantry may need those items more than they may need money. Some food pantries just need cash so that they can continue to operate and continue to purchase the items that they need to get things out the door. And so ask questions of your local food pantry in the best way you can help. Sometimes helping is just showing up and being willing to actually spend an hour or two there. And that doesn't mean you necessarily have to be at the pantry during pantry hours. We spend time restocking shelves, taking inventory, doing those types of things as well. Receiving and processing donations, those things take just as much time as getting a family through the food pantry. So if you have opportunities to spend at your local food pantry to volunteer, those things are helpful as well. We spend a lot of time packing boxes and things of that nature. So there's always something that needs to be done in a food pantry. And you can come in and you can feel like you're making an immediate impact, which is very, very helpful right off the bat. One of the things that I am doing, especially with the newsletters I run, is I've had this buy me a coffee page, and I know a lot of creators do as well. And I don't I don't promote it a lot. Um, the reason I did it was, there was always this subscription model on Substack in which people could pay for the newsletter. If you pay for the newsletter, I'm so grateful. You don't get a lot of extra benefits other than you can make comments and things of that nature. But there were people who just like, you're like, hey, Bill, I want to support your newsletter, but I'm not comfortable signing up for a subscription. I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. And so I was able to find the buy me a coffee thing, which is ironic because I don't drink coffee. So I joke with people, it's like when you buy me a coffee, you're actually buying me an iced tea. Um, but anyway, for the entire month of November, I had this plan that every time you donate to my Buy Me a Coffee page, you're actually going to be buying a meal for someone in my hometown. Because everything that I'm going to get from the Buy Me a Coffee page, I'm just going to hand over to the food pantry where, and I'm excited to do that because this was a way that average people can help make a donation to a food pantry, and we could tell people the story of our food pantry. We could tell people the stories about the people we see at our food pantry, which is even more important. Nothing frustrates me more and hearing stories of people that are complaining, uh, moaning, however you want to describe it, about people that come to our food pantry. And I find those conversations extremely um, unfair and unhelpful, to be quite honest. Um, I remember this was a few years ago, and I was in our pantry talking to some folks that were there, and just looking something up real quick. Young lady comes in, and this young lady is, she looks well put together. She had like a jacket on, skirt. She did not look like she belonged at the food pantry, because you can imagine the dress code of people that come. They look like me. I mean, I'm here in a hoodie and jeans, you know. So I go out there and I talk to her. I'm like, hey, what brings you here today? And she was like, my life was fine until earlier this week. I became a victim of domestic violence. She had to leave her home. Her kids were taken away. She found herself living in a shelter, and she lost her job as a nurse. Things just unraveled for this young lady in a period of days, and we were a lifeline to help her. Um, those are the kinds of people that we end up helping at the food pantry. And sure, we've got folks that have lost jobs, lost loved ones, a whole bunch of different things. And the reason I tell you this is that, there's this theory that people who come to our food pantry are, we see them every month. They're unmotivated, they're lazy, however you want to describe it. And that's just not the case. The typical family that visits us at the food pantry will visit us once a quarter. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to stretch their dollar. All right. These are largely people that are working poor, or they have some type of debilitating disease that keeps them out of the workforce, and they can't make ends meet. So if they need $50 for a medical device or some type of procedure at the dentist, or what have you, they're going to come to the food pantry. No, they don't have to spend that $50 at Kroger or Meijer or the local grocery store. They've got 50 extra bucks to put whatever they need to put towards. And so those are the kinds of things that we see at the food pantry. Um, and, those types of things are things we're just going to see that are going to happen more and more and more and more often. Nobody wants to. Yeah, I would love to put myself out of business. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But the long range trajectory is that more and more folks are going to depend on food pantries, especially those folks that are seniors. Um, those folks that are seniors, if all they have is a small pension and Social Security, that's not enough to keep them um, basically living throughout the month. They're going to have to be making sacrifices somewhere else. And those sacrifices mean they're coming to the food pantry so that they can save money to spend those dollars elsewhere. So really, that's all I had today. I just wanted to. Oh, and again, the Buy Me a Coffee page. I'm sorry. I had a modest goal of raising about $750 in November. I'm already up to 250, and I haven't really announced it. I mean, this whole thing was supposed to kick off tomorrow, but I've put a couple posts out on Substack here, and it's kind of grown from there. And so for all of our donors that have given, thank you so much. I'll give some shout outs because you folks need to be recognized for what you've done. Um, Yesterday we had Stephanie, Karen, and Terry each gave a very generous gift, and I'm grateful for those. And today, Carolyn, Iris, Sherry, Casey, Bev, Karen, Susan, Jenny, Maura, and Bobby each gave a generous gift, and That was absolutely amazing. Um, so far we've had 51 meals uh, donated from folks like you. And the amazing thing is you guys are from all over the country. You're just not here in little Western Ohio. You are all over the country. You've responded to the stuff that I've put out, and you've generously given, and I hope that continues. And if you're not going to give to our food pantry, I get it. You know, you're not in Ohio, but I hope that you would take the time to find a food pantry or a food bank in your own hometown or in your own neighborhood to give to, because that's going to make the most difference. Um, Before I shut her down, I don't know if anybody has any questions. I know we've got a handful of people on there. I know Bob's there. Hi, Bob. I still need to get with you, Bob. Still need to get with you, and that's going to happen sooner rather than later. It's been a busy week, um, but it warms my heart knowing that there are generous people out there, generous people that are willing to give of their time and their talent and their treasure to help their friends, to help their neighbors. It's huge. One thing I tell our volunteers is that people are coming to a food pantry. I can pretty much guarantee you they're not having the best day of their life. And so it helps when we treat people with care, compassion, and really respect and dignity when they come through our front door, because that's what folks need more than anything else. So, again, continue to be generous and kind to your neighbors. This is going to be a rough month for many people that we know. When you think about, especially here in Miami County, Ohio, 8% of people are on SNAP benefits, which means that's 1 out of 12. So when you go walking down Main Street in Troy, or you're walking down Water Street in Piqua, and you notice 12 cars on the street, one of those folks is a SNAP benefit. And when you think of it that way, it certainly changes the perspective. So thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday afternoon. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll catch up to you later.